Hey guys, welcome to the Poisonous Daily. This is the Mistress of Misfits, Kris Valkyrie, and today is the first episode of the Poisonous Daily. We have an amazing show today. I have a bunch of misfits coming on and maybe another special guest. But right now, I'm going to bring in my girlies, my misfits girlies. We're just missing one, but right now there's Hot Mess Ness and Stitchy. Hi
Hello.
guys. It's my first
No.
show. So, uh, oh my god, it's been a while since I did this. I'm so excited. I love this. So today's show topic, as you know, each day will be a different episode, different topics where we're going to discuss things. You can catch this. I'm going to stream this on my YouTube channel, which is YouTube Kris Valkyrie. I will probably do little clippets of it on Instagram, and definitely we do have a Discord, the Poisonous Daily on Discord. Um, if you want to jump in chat, follow things, chat with a bunch of us. In addition to that, other than the YouTube channel, I will definitely be posting these on Twitch as well. And then you could also catch us gaming on Twitch like we like doing every other night. I think Stitch games more live than we do.
I go live every night.
Yes,
Every
yes, you do.
single night.
So
I don't think I've missed a day since I started.
she
Yeah, no, I haven't missed a day since the end of June. I've been on a clean record streak going on.
so before we get to this topic of the day, I definitely want you guys to introduce yourselves. Like I said earlier in the intro, these are my misfit sisters. We're just missing one, and that's Darf. So the makeup master scientist of makeup, glam artist compared to me and Stitch is the hot mess Ness. Everyone, if you don't follow this woman, you need to. This woman is an artist at what she does. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, hi. I'm Hot Mess Ness. I enjoy experimenting with makeup and seeing what happens when I do just whatever. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have a lot of different hobbies. I don't have the attention span to stick to just one. So I like to paint. I like to sculpt. I like to write poetry that I don't share with anybody. Um, and I've always been obsessed with music. Currently, I am trying to learn how to make my own wings, like the kind that you can just stick in the back of your outfit. So I need to find the way to bend the wire the right way. But yeah,
So, guys, she's an artist at what he does. And now it's our little one of the crew, our little pit bull on Fortnite, the one that we tell not to push the quads, and then we come and find a whole bunch of bodies in Fortnite. It
yeah,
is
Who said that? Who said
he.
that? Who said that? Oh
Listen,
yeah.
she'd be like, I need help. We're coming. Bodies crawling everywhere.
graveyard.
Like, we just have to finish them off for her. She just takes them out one by one.
All right. Hello,
It's true.
everyone. I'm Stitch, or Stitch 510, depending on how many, or Stitchy. A lot of people like to call me that too. Um, I'm a Twitch streamer currently. Like I said earlier, I don't think I've ever missed a day since I started. I love doing what I do. Um, this is probably the few times you'll ever see my face because I don't show my face on live stream. So if that's your thing, go right ahead. You'll probably also see me a bit more on TikTok more than on Instagram. Instagram, I post very little, but I do tend to repost or reshare certain things. TikTok, though, 100% you'll see me what I do. I started getting into cosplay a bit more. Uh, by day, I work. By night, a Twitch streamer, superhero by night. Just putting that out there. These are the
She's not
beautiful people that I get to play with every single day, and I appreciate every time they hop on. We have other people that get to join me, and I appreciate also them very well. Even though we're not related by blood, but to me, they're like my beautiful sisters that I love very, very much. But yeah,
we love you too, Stitchy. So, like I says, every week well, every 2 weeks. The show will only be on twice a month. Um, between working, being a mom, cosplay, trying to get out things, I think my attention span could only handle two shows a month. So we're gonna treat it like a paycheck, people, biweekly. Okay, biweekly.
Okay.
That's how we're doing this. But each week will be a new and amazing topic. A lot of fun topics. Um, but this topic I find very important to me. Um, it was kind of inspired by a conversation Ness, Dawn, and Matt and I were having, and the irony of it is I actually wear a bracelet with this word on it, and it's empathy. And I think that's a conversation. As you guys know, oh, before I even get to the topic, there are rules to the Poisonous Daily. Well, you guys, I don't have to worry about you guys, but I just want everyone to know. There are rules to Poisonous Daily because we will be discussing topics that can be very sensitive, topics that people could take very personal.
What's
So
the
the rule
wording?
Poisonous Daily, yes, we discuss everything. There is no filtration here, but I do ask that respect is always there. So the rules of Poisonous Daily is respect all above. Any form, it's respect. We all don't see things the same way. We don't live the lives the same way. We come from different cultural backgrounds, but we are all able to have serious conversations and respect each other's opinions. And we do not judge no one here. Ness may believe one thing, I may not believe in it, but I still love Ness to death. This is the conversation. I want the Poisonous Daily not just to be an entertaining show. I want people to take what we do and actually use it in life because there'll be less
Yeah.
animosity in the world, in my opinion, or more empathy. There's no hate speech, nothing about racism. We may have a topic of racism, sexism, and discuss how it affects us, but there will be, and I will never tolerate anyone being racist to anyone, myself, or any one of my guests or co hosts on my show. And the same goes in my Discord chat. I take these things very seriously. Um, there's no homophobia will be tolerated because in this thing, we all are allies. That's it at the end of the day. Um,
Yeah.
there's ideas versus hate. A person can have an idea or opinion or question something, but we can all tell the difference between ideas and hate. So if you will get G checked, and as everyone knows, I have no filter. That's why I'm not TikTok friendly. I'm there every so often, but I'm not TikTok friendly. I have no filter, and I will G check you if you come at anyone or disrespect anyone, and I will put you in your place. Um, I want everyone to be their authentic self. I don't want people to put on a show or be like, we're doing this for the gram or like cause chaos. That I want everyone to be their authentic selves because this is supposed to be a safe space. And then basically, it's okay to challenge the narrative every once in a while as long as you do it in a respectful manner. A respectful. I just created a new word, respectful. A respectful manner. So those are the rules. You could also catch the rules in the Discord. But our conversation is empathy. So since okay, and I'm gonna feel like a professor right now. We're doing a Q&A. No, let me stop. I'm gonna ask both of you guys this question. What is your definition of empathy? Whoever wants to answer can answer first. I'm all for it. That they're thinking. See, there's so many, there's so many definitions of it. Or you know what? Let's see what the definition itself is before we even say our definition. We're gonna look this up, people. It's okay to use a dictionary. I advise that everyone uses it once in a while. You no longer have to carry a big ass book. But it's great to have a dictionary and a thesaurus. It will help you a lot in this world. You have a phone. Use it for the right things, not nasty things. um, no offense to people, and I know people probably find me offensive. I deal with it a daily basis with my family, so I'm very serious, and I can be very serious at times, but at the same time, I do have a sense of humor. So, and I can be petty, but that's just the Leo in me. But I I just tell it how it is. So, as per Merriam-Webster dictionary, the definition of empathy is or a compassion. The feeling that you understand or share another person's experience and emotions. And then the example they use is he felt great empathy towards the poor. So, and then relevant words is compassion, sympathy, kindness, understanding, pity, generosity, tenderness, mercy, and it keeps on going of a bunch of words that are similar to it. So that's the definition as per. We're not doing Oxford. I didn't look up Oxford. I used Merriam-Webster. That is the Merriam-Webster definition of empathy. What would you guys say your definition of empathy is?
You don't necessarily have to experience the same exact situation or scenario that somebody had in order to put yourself in that same situation, imagine how you would feel, and understand why they feel the way they feel. Especially if you're friends with somebody and you kind of understand like their upbringing or who or what they were raised by, and you understand the ways that that can shape somebody. So you know why they feel a certain way about a certain topic, even if you yourself didn't live it yourself. I think a really common way to feel empathy is through music and books because again, those are wonderful ways for people to express through a whole artistic medium their scenario and how they feel. And the best, like biggest hits and the best, like the most like read books often go with empathy. Um, Whether they call through their own personal experience or like an experience that everybody's felt before. Kind of like Where the Red Fern Grows or books like that, where all of us have lost a pet, maybe, and we can kind of call on like a common empathy that way.
Okay, Stitch, remember you're muted, so when you're ready to answer that, don't unmute yourself.
No, I am. It's just background noises. But for me, empathy, I tend to feel a lot of that, especially from where I work. Um, for those who don't know, I work. I do feel a lot of empathy for a lot of people um, that I've never been in that type of situation. Some that people don't even. And sometimes just for me, empathy is just try to put yourself in them shoes and try to understand their point of view of things, which can be really hard, especially if you don't agree with with other people. But we don't always have to agree, and we don't always have to disagree. Your opinions are valid, no matter if the other person thinks it's right or wrong. It's how you feel, and it's understandable. The only thing is that we can just show compassion and understand what they're feeling and get upset because of what they're feeling.
I agree. So it wouldn't be fair that you guys gave your definition of empathy and I don't share my own. And like I says, I find this word very important. I actually had my bracelet made with the Little Word Project, and as you guys can see, this one says empathy. Um, and I think I did it because I feel like the world lacks so much empathy. I think that's the real reason why I did it. And I try to be as empathetic as possible but my definition of empathy, and I think it was the way I would grow up, I grew up in New York City and I had no filter. I grew up in a law enforcement family, a mother that worked as a social worker in family court. So I was exposed to things a lot of children were not exposed to, are usually, you know, filtered or like blocked or whatever they want to use. I can't even think right now. But to me, empathy is not just showing compassion to those that do not have or those who have less. I don't think it's just about who has what and who has when, because you could still give a person empathy because they lack some type of intelligence or because they're struggling or they're working hard, and you could just be empathetic towards it. But my definition of empathy is kind of similar to you guys, putting yourself in another person's shoes. um I was also taught to treat the janitor and the CEO as the same. They both get the same forms of respect. It doesn't matter how much money you make in this world. It's who you are as an individual. I'm also that person that if I see someone that needs food or water or they're asking, I may not give them money because in New York City, we do have junkies, and I'm not going to give a junkie money to score something. I will take that person and buy them a sandwich or buy them a bottle of water and just give them money so they could put another drug into their system and continue down that road. But it's just, I don't know. I think empathy is something we are all born with, but we lose as we get older. Because as a child, we don't judge, and if someone gets hurt, we're on them. Are you okay? And that innocence is still there. But as you get older, I guess the coldness comes in. That empathy starts to disappear, and you no longer see it. So my definition of empathy would be compassion and putting somebody else being or putting yourself in that person's shoes, but at the same time holding that value of keeping that empathy with you from what you had as a child to adulthood, and using it even in your everyday life, because I know people could be assholes. Listen, I'm probably the biggest bitch in the world. I have resting bitch face 24/7. Um, I may not seem like a nice person, or I could come off as serious or whatever you want to call it. I've probably been called the worst of words, and I really don't care. But I could tell you this, I could be standing in a room with a whole bunch of people, and I will be more empathetic to that waitress or bartender or person that is not standing out and looking for attention, because that person's being their genuine self. That's also where I put my analogy of empathy in. It's to give a person their recognition for who they are as an individual. So that's where that comes in for me. So I'm going to move on to my next question. And my next question is, do you guys think empathy is important? Remember, you guys are on mute because you're muting yourselves.
For me, I think yes. Actually, of what there's been a lot of things going on in the world just this month alone, because people didn't have type of mindset, regardless of who was right and wrong. Which um, I feel like it does take a toll on a lot of people's lives. That people don't really seem to be considered about, like, should I be empathetic towards this person? Again, everyone's allowed to do whatever they want. I think when it comes to empathy, you should think about it for a second and realize, do I want to be the bigger person? And be like, understand what they're feeling, or I understand why they say what they said. I just think for me, like I said, for me, I feel very empathetic when it comes to a lot of things. But yeah.
What about you, Ness?
I do think that empathy is very important. I think it is one of the ways that separates us from the animals. The fact that we kind of classify people as being, and mind you, I'm not an expert, sociopathic or something to that effect. When you don't feel empathy, it's classified as a mental issue for a reason. Uh, I can think of a few stories where if you hear them and you don't feel empathy for that person, it's kind of like how do you not feel empathy for a kid dying in a war across the world just because of where they're born and that like you're not from where they're from, you didn't grow up where they grew up. You should still feel empathy for the shit they're going through. It's necessary and it makes us compassionate and more understanding. It causes us to make inventions in medicine and stuff to take care of people because without empathy, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't even give a shit about that sort of thing.
Don't mind me. So I take notes. That's just the studious side of me. You said two things that I find. So the first one you said was that you feel like empathy is what sets us or makes us different
Well,
from
even animals will feel empathy,
That's what I
but
was
yeah.
say. Like, I feel like animals are more empathetic than human beings, and I'm that person that we could be watching a movie and it could be like this movie or perfect example, the I Am Legend movie with Will Smith, right?
Mm.
There was emotional scenes throughout that movie. I sat there, watched the whole movie, and the moment the dog died, I cried.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't like the emotional sequence of his daughter, daddy look at the butterfly, when he was having those memories when the plane crashed and he lost his daughter and wife and set him into this mental state. I did not bat a fucking eye. But the moment the dog died, bawling, bawling, bawling. I I I don't know. I don't know if it's I'm just like more colder towards it, or I just feel more for an animal because an animal is more I consider an animal more innocent than a human being, and they are so full of love, especially dogs. I know cats could be asshole, but they when they want to be loving, they can be loving. But they're so naturally they love you unconditionally. And there's been instances where wild animals have saved children and
Yes.
ending. So like so when you kind of said that, like that popped into my head, I was like, well, I think animals have more empathy than us because they do things
And it's done without thought.
without
It's
thought.
done out of instinct. Um,
So
I'm
yeah.
thinking about the movie Titanic, where everybody cried over Jack and Rose. Everybody was sad over Jack and Rose. I didn't cry over that part because my brain was able to make that part like separate. However, the scene of the dead mom holding her baby frozen in the water can't even way more emotional impact on that. And I was like 17 at the time. I wasn't even thinking about being a mom at the time.
Well, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
there's
have
certain things that make more of
that.
a.
There's like
Yeah.
of course that will be a reaction, but I wouldn't be bald. I would be sad. I would be
Oh,
upset.
I bawled. I bawled very hard.
But I bawl the moment an animal, any type of animal dies or is killed,
Oh,
I
Marley and me must have been hard on you.
I freaking lose my shit. Like, oh, what did they do? They didn't just like right now.
You're just an animal.
The bear that wandered into a Family Dollar or something, and they euthanized the bear. because I think he bit an old lady, and it was in Jersey. It was in 1010.
Oh
Like, they didn't have to euthanize him. It wasn't that.
no, they could have. They could
Probably
have just freaking.
he was probably
They could have trained
scared.
him and like
No,
they could have put him.
that's terrible.
They didn't have to do that. No,
Euthanized him. Okay, I understand he scratched or bit an old lady, but he didn't. He didn't do it intentionally. Like, we
no, he didn't seek out the old lady.
Right?
people just for the
That's their
fucking
natural
of it.
instinct.
But he probably got scared and said, you know, but he didn't be like, I'm gonna walk into the Dollar General and I'm gonna attack a 93-year-old woman and throw shit up and this, that, and the third and fuck shit. No, probably got lost, wandered in, smelled food, and
A lot of food there, yeah.
he was a curious bear. But like,
Absolutely.
got mad and I'm driving my car listening to Tenton. I was like, they didn't have to fucking do that to the bear. Why don't you go euthanize half of these motherfuckers that are killing people without reason, without remorse? Just doing it to just for kicks and giggles. But they're not.
There's that saying about they'll put down a dog for biting someone, but they won't put down a pedophile. And I'm like,
Another perfect analogy. Another perfect analogy.
because you can't rehabilitate.
You can rehabilitate that.
You can't. But we'll put down a dog that reacted after feeling attacked, but we won't put down a.
Like, so I just wanted to bring that up. That I don't know. To me, I think animals are more empathetic. And animals just react on instinct, or fear, because they really do not know. And then I have to remind people, like, when people be like, I got bit by a shark. Well, motherfucker, no one told you to go into their home. That's just
I'm a little scared of the ocean. That sounds fair.
But like I said, it's not your place, it's their place. They're used to be like, I'm just swimming.
That's why I like it here in Iowa when they bitch about deer season. They say there's too many deer. There's too many deer, and I'm like, but we're just kind of here in the middle of their little animal world with our roads and shit. Too many deer, but they might say too many cars. I don't know.
Listen, like, people be like, oh, then you should be vegan. No. Let me explain something to you. I like my steak every once in a while. I feel for the animal. I appreciate the animal sacrifice that they made to give me my steak or my chicken or whatever. I appreciate the sacrifice because they are giving me nutrients and making me live on and fulfilling that craving. But turkeys are assholes. Let me explain something.
Yeah, they are.
Them motherfucking turkeys.
Geese too. Geese are mean. Geese are so.
Right.
Have you ever dealt with a wild turkey?
Yes. Oh.
Motherfuckers are assholes. They just
They're loud.
Reason.
They're loud about being assholes on top of it.
I remember
the way they be chasing you.
Bro, I'd never seen my husband run. And then I made fun for him because at the time he was still a cop. And, he has this strong, persona, this big Dominican man, he got his shit on point. And he's running from a fucking turkey.
Chickens can be scary too.
Chickens you could kind of kick and keep going, but turkeys are big ass motherfuckers.
Oh, they dope too.
Yo,
the first time we see one running with its head cut off is very scary.
You're gonna fucking jump him. Once again, this is 18 plus. If you are a teenager, you should not be watching this shit because I do curse. I will like episode. I forgot to say
you were warned. You were warned.
Okay, and if your kid is watching this and you're allowing to them, then you have something else. I'm a fucking mom and I won't even allow it.
We are all adults here.
Exactly. But those fucking turkeys, they're assholes. I was like driving and I drive slow. It was very foggy. We were in the Poconos and I was driving really, really slow. And out of nowhere, this fucking turkey starts running after my car. I just started like, oh my God, this fucking turkey's just like, and my husband's laughing and he's like, you're in the car. But he's chasing me. I want to hit the turkey. I kind of feel bad, but kind of deserved it if I would have hit him.
They're big.
But yeah, these turkeys started running after my husband like they were gonna fucking jump him. I was like, you run after people that commit crimes every day or a person with a gun, but you're running from a turkey. A
Not
turkey.
the turkey.
The turkey. But turkeys are assholes. I don't think turkeys have much empathy. They're just
Probably not.
yeah, out of all the animals, I have to say turkeys lack empathy.
Yeah.
But like everything else, like bears, like they're like if you don't fuck with them, they don't fuck with you.
Right?
I've known
Exactly.
I've been
I've
in
always heard that emus were really fucking fuck you too.
really
Emus and
yeah they get up in your face.
flamingos. I've heard flamingos can have an attitude too.
I don't know. I've never had a problem with a flamingo. I've never
Never
seen.
been around one.
I've
I
seen
just
a
remember reading
llama.
stories.
I've seen. I wouldn't consider the llama an asshole.
Peacocks. Goose. Yo, these
No,
goose.
Peacocks can be meaner in hell. Absolutely, yeah.
never
Peacocks will
had a
hiss at
bad.
you, kind of like a goose will. Like they're
Right?
I've had peacocks come up to me and open their feathers and flap their
Yeah.
well.
feathers.
That means that
But then
means
they'll slowly start getting to you, be like, look at my pretty feathers, and you walking away, they'll be like,
that means
leave. They're
something else.
like,
I think.
look. And then I'm like, no, I'm okay. They're like, wait,
Uh,
don't look. Same thing with goose. Don't get you're just even
I
being in the
think
same area of them, they'll come chasing you down.
so. I remember I was 6 years old and we went to a field trip for a zoo. And I only remember out of all my sixth grade experience, I remember this one. And we went to a petting zoo and they had a llama or
Oh
was
boy.
I think it was a llama. And I told the teacher, and I hated this fucking teacher. This teacher was such a bitch. She was such a
Oh
bitch.
no.
I didn't have empathy for this teacher. She fucking deserved what she got. And I go, hey, don't get close to the llama. It spits. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. So she's standing in front of the llama and is like, and then you just see, and all
I
you see is
thought everybody knew this.
face. It's like, I told you it spits, bitch. Fucking, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm saying, but you got llama spit in your face.
I thought that was like well documented.
I thought so too. But obviously, whether you're a school teacher or not is not documented for you. Yeah. So
That's too much.
I didn't have empathy that day for the llama. And
I
then
mean,
I had empathy for the llama, not for the teacher.
not the grown ass adult.
Yeah, the grown ass adult. And then you mentioned I'm trying to remember what you mentioned. I think I wrote it, but I wrote it the wrong way. Was it empathy having value to something? I believe it was empathy having some type of value. It'll come back to me. So the next question I have, which I think kind of plays off of what's going on today, because I think we're starting to see it a little bit more. I honestly, in my opinion, I feel like we're starting to see it more since social media was created. I think the world has seen a lot more than what they're used to seeing. And Stitch, you're younger than us, so but you were raised by a parent that's like us, so I think you kind of falling on the lines with us than when we deal with individuals that are in your age range because some of them are not very bright. No offense to you, Stitch. I think with social media, we're starting to see more the fact that this world lacks a lot of empathy. And it's almost like empathy is kind of taboo. I don't know if you guys feel the same way of
I feel like in the 90s and early 2000s, it was more taboo than it is now, just because of the kids I'm meeting now. Mind you, again, my oldest is 11. Uh, they're showing empathy to each other and they're being nice to each other in ways that were not encouraged to people who looked or acted differently in the 90s, early 2000s. Um, I'm watching them accept people with different disabilities and like just looking different in ways that were maybe just beginning to be accepted back when I was an older teen. I will say with the internet, it's allowed a disconnect and like personal responsibility for the shit you do and say that like it allows people to be trolls more. But as far as like face to face and who they're going to school with, who they're hanging out with, just watching the age group that I'm watching, it seems like they're doing a better job than we were at that age. Or not even, I wouldn't say we, but if you were nice to kids, it was discouraged, I think, a little bit more in the 90s than it is now.
Okay. So honestly, I think empathy should be played, like, in my opinion, um I think empathy should go whether you're in person or online. Like I tell my kids all the time, you need to think twice before you say something or think twice before you write something, because there are consequences to your actions or consequences to the things you say. So I think empathy should be held at a higher ground. But I was taught empathy
Yeah.
pretty young, and I've taught my children empathy. But like I says, we all grow up differently. And for the those of you that know, Nessa's in the Midwest. Me and Stitch are on the East Coast. Stitch is a kind of a part of what we call the tri-state, but she is in Jersey, and I am in New York. But she's only an hour drive from me. That's
I mean, I was born and raised in New York, so I was able to experience a lot of different things from being in New York and in being in New Jersey. I think I've only been in New Jersey since 2018, but before that, it was always been in New York, and even then, I always felt kind of very disconnected in a way
I
from
think
people my age.
I think uh, now that you're saying disconnected, I think because I'm an empathetic person, I do feel disconnected for those around me, because I've noticed a lot of people don't have the same mindset as me or more empathetic. I'm told in my office that or everyone assumes I'm such a people person. No, I actually fucking hate people. I hate people. I'm only here and I deal with it because I'm paid to deal with it. Like I just tell people, I'm paid to deal with stupid, but once I'm off of work, don't give me stupid. Because unless you're paying me, I'm not dealing with your stupidity. I lack the patience for stupid shit. But because I'm such an empathetic person and I know my clients don't know the legal process, I break things down to them because I want them to understand, not just because if I was in their shoes, I would want to know and my questions be answered and feel like I'm being heard. And at the same time, it does make my job easier because they won't fucking call me every week. But because I take that time and I am empathetic, people assume I'm a people person. No, I'm the first person to go tell you to go fuck yourself. And I will do it with a smile on my face. And I would do it while smiling and then literally pageant girl 101, go fuck yourself. Just like that. Without a problem. Um, and I will have no empathy or remorse telling you to go fuck yourself if you deserve it. But I feel like when you're in a field, I've seen it a lot in my field. People have no empathy. They just do the job to do the job, get it over and done with. I've even seen it in the hospital field. And this is why there's many malpractice cases in the world. these individuals lack the empathy. They're like, this is my fucking job. I don't care about nothing else. Just go in, do what the fuck I have to do, be the fuck out.
The amount
And
of times I've seen people that do not give a fuck their patients is hilarious to me. Someone can be over there pressing their call button because they're actually having an emergency. I just see these nurses just sitting there on their phone, not giving a crap. Will come in delivering their tray. I'm like, hey, I have a tray for this so and so. They're like, oh, just leave it there. I'll deliver it when I can. I'm like, no. From what I've seen, they haven't eaten all day, haven't eaten all week, and this is their first meal in a very long time. And you're just telling me just leave it there. You'll deliver it whenever you feel like it. If it wasn't for the fact, because there's certain rooms that I can't go in based on what why they're there for. If it wasn't for these signs, I would go in personally, be like, here you go. But it's just like these people, like I don't understand where their mindset comes from. Like all the popular kids decided, like, let's just be doctors or nurses. And they just carry their energy from when they peaked in high school all the way to their adulthood. And it's just been the same. No empathy, just nothing.
they
It's
just do
like
it
if
to do it.
exactly they're like, oh, but I get paid, I get paid a good check. Yeah, but what for what cause? There's people very unsatisfied with what they just went through because you're treating them like money, and
No,
it's
they're
unfortunate.
not treating them like they're a human being. And I
No, they're
think
not.
that's the other issue that we have. People no longer see people as human beings. They see everything else but that individual. Yes, we all come in different shapes, sizes, different colors, different backgrounds. We all different languages, different cultures, different traditions, different faith beliefs. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all individuals with our own personalities, our own thoughts, our own minds. And sometimes, you know, I think social media help bring out the worst in a lot of people, but at the same time, it's opened up the world to see different things. But unfortunately, violence and hatred sells more, I guess you could say. And people thrive off of that negative energy instead of the goodness that is actually happening in the world. And then you have people or individuals that do things not because they want to do it or not because they want to help a person. They want to do it for the followers, not for being an empathetic into being a boob. The followers, what are they going to get out of it and how popular they're going to be on it. And you brought the simple fact as these people were on their rise, or was it you, Ness, that brought it that they were at this high and then they become these things. I forgot who said what from high school.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
that was me. The
yeah,
people from
right,
high school that it's like you can already tell how they're gonna be in the future from the way they're just acting even from then. Some change, and I'm glad they did. And then the majority of ones that they think they got just because they got handed everything in life, thinking the same way is gonna continue like that when they're adults.
exactly. Um so I think this lack of empathy in the world is why we're in the situations we are in. Um and it's not just the lack of empathy, or maybe it is the lack of empathy or the fact that people don't see others as an individual or as a human being. They're just like, I'm just going to judge this person because of this person. Or I'm just going to judge this guy because he wants to wear a dress. Who gives a fuck? It's no one's fucking business. If he feels comfortable in a fucking dress, let him fucking wear a dress. I really don't care. It's none of my fucking business. More power to you. And if you look fucking amazing in that dress and I have the same dress and I look like shit, rock it even more, bitch. Woo woo, let's go. Like, I've seen men that are drag queens and they look 20 times better than me. And I've seen transgender women that are fucking gorgeous. And they put me to shame. I'm not insulted by it. more the fuck power to you. You know, I've seen butchy women that look better than men and make actually better men than some men. Because honestly, in my opinion, there's a lot of men in this world that are a bunch of fucking bitches. They're pussies, and I really don't give a fuck. And if you were one of those motherfuckers that think you have these big fucking cojones because you have a dick and two balls, then that doesn't make you special. There's plenty other men in this world with a dick and two balls, and I know some transgender men that have bigger dicks than you. Okay? So, and if you want to get technical, I got balls, but they're up here, the ones that everyone likes to look at, and they're a lot bigger than yours. That's my fucking attitude, because I could tell you if I go toe to toe with you, you may be a little bit stronger, but I do promise you, if I have to knock you the fuck out, I'm knocking you the fuck out. But there's also that whole sexist thing we have going on too in today's society. And this, oh, you can't do this. And I think me and Nas probably heard it a lot more than we do now. That because we're women, we're not expected to excel at anything we do. And then remember that whole thing that they started, if you could do it, I could do it better song.
Anything you can do, I can do better. That's a Judy Garland one, yeah.
Yeah. That came back around when we were like in high school.
Anything you can do, I can do bleeding
Oh yeah, that
was
too.
what I heard it turn into for later.
Because there was a point where they just thought women would just go back to just being in the kitchen, raising kids, and that's it. And
My
like,
grandma told me what not to do. My grandma warned me. My grandma said, "Don't do this. Don't listen to him. Take your time. Chill the fuck out. Don't be in a hurry."
okay, we as women, you haven't had a baby yet, Stitch. Um, but me and Nevis has. And I had a C-section. I had an emergency C-section with my first child. The worst fucking experience ever in my fucking life, because I felt my entire C-section. And I don't know if it was fucking God, what magic, what voodoo, or whatever y'all believe in, but I'm Catholic. I swear God was in that room, because I don't know how I was remaining so calm and telling a doctor, I feel you, I feel you, I feel you. And not screaming at them on top of my lungs, just calmly telling the doctor, I feel it. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, I feel you. I feel you. It hurts. They will inject me and I would throw it back up. I felt my entire C-section with my son. Worst experience ever in my fucking life. That I even tell a woman, if you want to take an epidural, do not take it. Trust your body. Your body knows what it's doing. Don't listen to nobody else but yourself and your instincts. And I got up and not even seconds later of being out of the OR, and I fought with them. I was like, it's either you take this fucking epidural out of my back so I could go see my baby, or I'm going to fucking rip it out. And I was up and walking within seconds. But a man trips and falls and gets a little paper cut, and it's the fucking end of the world.
You don't get any medicine for a colposcopy, but a guy will get one for getting a fucking, what was it? Like basically an X-ray of his balls. They'll numb it. But if you don't know the procedure of a colposcopy, it's not fun. They literally pinch a part of your cervix out with a.
Oh, I know.
And it hurts. It hurt me. I don't know.
Let me explain something to you. Like a fucking pap smear hurts and is uncomfortable.
Yes, but this is
a mammogram hurts women. The procedure to save our lives hurts like fuck. And like people fail to realize.
Oh no.
No, I took her off because she paused herself. So
Okay, I thought she got scared then.
no. I'm pretty sure she works in a hospital. She's fine. No, I think something
That's
happened.
true.
So since she got off screen and mute and she's on mute, this is why I like StreamYard. You could like pop people back and forth. I feel like the lack of empathy or the lack of intelligence or being sexist or naive or ignorant, or as my daughter goes, ignorant. When she was little, she would say ignorant, you ignorant.
That's cute.
People think women are the weaker.
Gynecological medicine hasn't been updated since like the early 1900s at least, in many ways. And the fact that they weren't even testing period products on blood since what? Pretty fucking recent, if I remember. Women's health has not been included in just about any study or any testing of any medication or anything like that too, not until fairly recently, which they actually stopped funding a lot of that too.
Well, this goes back to our things. A lot of people think women do what they do and they do it for whatever reason, but then maybe maybe because men lack empathy towards their opposite sex. Maybe it's that too. It kind of comes back full circle. I don't know if it's they're ignorant, they're stupid, they're naive, or they just lack empathy and or assume that they know more, and it's really not that way. But then you have individual women, and I think when shit hits the fan, and I think she was a senator or a governor, no, she was a senator or congresswoman from Florida, and she was a big part of pro-life. I guess she was a big pro-life.
She had an ectopic pregnancy, that one?
Had the ectopic pregnancy, and they made it illegal for an abortion no matter if it was a medical life-saving procedure, and she couldn't get it. She was going to die. And people think like people just get abortions to just fucking get them. This is the most difficult decision any woman has to
That
make.
baby most of the time was named, had a nursery planned. Like they wanted that baby, and it ended up being no woman should have to go through sepsis.
Exactly.
With a fetus with no heartbeat. And no doctor should have to be like, well, I don't want to lose my license, so I can't prescribe it. But you have people who think abortion and they think killing baby. They don't think anything else. They don't understand that, like, what's this? What is the statistic about 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 women will have a miscarriage, or like every?
Actually, it's a lot higher now.
Probably, yeah.
Carriages on a daily basis.
You have to be able to afford health care to be able to take care of a fetus, and you can't do that if you can't afford.
And sadly, some people. I'm not gonna say there
A
are
lack of empathy does lead to these type of laws.
Not just the lack of empathy, the lack of knowledge, or lack of knowing what happens, or being in a situation of what it is to not have medical or access to certain necessities that are needed to survive in this world. But I also understand there are individuals that do ruin it. Not all women are amazing women. There's fucking women out there that are complete assholes and shouldn't be mothers. Just like there's all men that are complete assholes and shouldn't be fathers, or shouldn't
Not everybody deserves to be a parent for absolute certain. Yeah.
Or shouldn't be in a position that they're in. But it doesn't mean every man is like that or every woman is like that. But unfortunately, they're using the agenda of women that get pregnant and decide last minute to have an abortion because they hate the baby's father or something or whatever reason. And it's never fine. I understand there's women, but not all of them are like that. Just like birth control. Some birth controls are to help women that have very, very painful, horrific periods and help them control them so they could have some type of normal life. Because I do know, and the videos that I love on fucking TikTok that I see are these fucking period simulators and labor simulators. These guys can't even handle one.
Level 1, level 2, no.
And by the time
And I don't know
they're like
about you,
dying.
but since having my kids, it feels like early labor now. My cramps get so bad that it feels like early labor,
Bro.
especially since my second kid. And I had back labor. So
All my
now,
cramps are in my back. Mine's is in my back. It's
that and two, trying to go to a doctor and be like, hey, this baby's sitting on my pinched nerve. I know you, and I said, I'm just in a lot of pain. And they're like, we can't give you drugs. I was like, I don't want drugs. I just want to know what can I do so that I can actually, because it was to the point where I was in crying pain, whether I was sitting down, laying down, standing, walking, no matter what. 5'1" me had 6'3", 6'4" Jonathan's babies, and they were 10-pound babies. So I
oh
just wanted,
this.
I just wanted some help,
10 pounds
And
is a lot, people.
first one, how do I put this? Is it an episiotomy where they
Yeah.
cut you so you won't rip? And then the second one was an emergency C-section because her heart rate kept dropping, and that was a whole different level of scary.
See, people, this is why you need empathy in the world. You do not know what a person is dealing with. And
I don't understand how people don't have it because, like, again,
I
I brought up earlier, reading books or listening to music. People are telling you their stories.
getting rid of good books that teach you these things.
Why? Why are so many of the books they're banning? What? Yeah. Okay. Why are so many of the books that they're banning were the ones that we grew up reading and were on our required reading list? Like, I swear to God, a lot of the ones that are being banned right now.
Is one of them. Catcher in the Rye, I think, is one of the best books. It talks about empathy. It talks about mental health. It talks about suicide awareness. It talks about coming from a broken home, whether you people think on the outside because they're rich and so on and so forth. It's a great home, but it's not. It talks about mental abuse, emotional abuse. It hits every level that helps a child or an adolescent prepared what they're going to endure when they come into this world. It's one of the best books. It was The Catchers in Rye, Lord of the Flies, A Streetcar Named Desire, The Outsiders, The Great Gatsby. These all are amazing pieces of work. The Crucible is one of my favorite books, but that writer is, I could go for days. He took a play of what was going on with the Cold War and the blacklist that were happening on and turned it into the Crucible because that's what they fucking did. They didn't like a person and they created a bunch of lies, and motherfuckers being naive or ignorant or lacking empathy ran with a fucking thing like it was, nothing nothing nothing, like it wasn't going to affect anyone. And look how many women they killed, innocent women. And I think what, two men, two men, yeah, innocent women. And why did they kill uh what was it, Ichiba, Tipaba, if I remember correctly, because she was a slave woman from a different world, and because her culture and her heritage was not the same as yours. You killed her because you believed the little bitch that was lying and couldn't get her way that she was a witch. Are you fucking kidding me? And they taking birthmarks or freaking molds or fucking things and saying they were a succubus's teeth. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I think one of my favorite photos of the expression witch, right? So it says witch. And then witches, you remember how we used to do those things that like our name is with a K and we'll come up with a word like kindness. And then an A for
Next letter.
yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
what it's called. So they took the word witch and they did the same analogy to the word. I'm just looking for it. It's actually one of my favorites because I find it really funny. So it says witch. The first word, the first letter W is women. I is for in. T is for total. C is for control of H herself. So women in control of herself. So
I remember hearing a similar one to bitch, but yes, 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 yes. Uh, yeah.
because honestly, like
No.
who was a woman? A woman that knew how to heal the sick with herbs. That's
John and I were
modern
talking
medicine,
earlier.
motherfuckers.
How many women, mind you, the whole thing where they would accuse a woman of being a witch and they would strap her in the one mechanism where if she drowned, she was a pious, good Christian woman, and if she swam or floated, she was a witch. And John was like, "How many of those women just happen to own land?" And I was like,
A lot of them.
"Yeah, yeah, a lot of them. They
A
happen to
lot
inherit
of the
something or
land.
own something, and their husband wanted to get rid of them for whatever
No,
reason, move on to the
it
next
wasn't.
thing."
It wasn't. No, it wasn't even that. It was either they were a widowed, and the widowed had the land and was going to give it on to her son. But if she was accused of witchery, they could take the land, and the child could never claim it because the mom was a witch.
A lot of those people, yeah, they wanted the land, they wanted the assets, they wanted the money.
Okay, or how many women were accused of being witches because they were jealous of the woman, or accused a woman of being a witch because she was either prettier or got the man that the other woman wanted.
See, I feel like it's more likely that the guy wanted to move on and get a different
Oh,
wife and got sick of
there's
him,
so many
type of
aspects
thing.
to it.
Well, because think about mental asylums and think about how many women were like committed. And I can't think of her name, but there was a woman who had herself purposely admitted just to see what the conditions were like and what they considered to be
Wasn't
like a
she like a
mental.
journalist?
I'm sorry.
Wasn't she like a journalist?
Yeah, yeah. There was one case where she was a journalist and she wrote newspaper articles about it afterward. There's probably more than one, and I might be mishmashing a couple stories in my head right now. But yeah, there are women who got themselves purposely admitted so that they could see what it was like from the inside out. And it was very easy for a guy to get whatever woman committed bad at a certain time period too.
Mm-hmm.
Which Kennedy was it? The female Kennedy, the one that got a lobotomy.
The sister, I think it was one
Yeah,
of
she
the.
was like argumentative, or they didn't like what she had to say, so then they had her fucking lobotomized.
Yeah. Sheesh. Well, let's put it this way. A lot of women, healers, remedy workers, people that did natural remedies, they were all considered witches because they cured someone with a fucking herb. Meanwhile, now motherfuckers are running around and
But if
now
she would have had a penis, they would have thought it was a miracle. But because she had the JJ, I remember reading too, and maybe you can help me correct this. Because you remember hearing about the Black Plague and how rats contributed to that. Part of why that happened was because they were killing cats as their familiars, whereas these cats would have taken care of these rats, and the Black Plague would not have spread as bad.
that was the other thing.
It's insane. That was like a whole religious Christianity thing, like
Let me
Christianity or Catholicism.
Catholic is, well, whatever people want to say. The breakdown is it's Judaism, Catholicism, Hindu or Buddhism. It's always like they don't know which one came first. Was it Hindu or Buddhist? It's the other way around. Depends on what the person wants to say. And then Muslim is the youngest religion in the world. Then you have Greek. You have uh, if you want to talk even higher than that, the most advanced are Greek, Indian, indigenous religions, so on and so forth. But one God religions will be Judaism, Catholicism, Christianity, whatever you want to call it.
Specifically, the split between polytheism and mono.
Yes, exactly. And then Hindu or Buddhism or Buddha Hinduism, and then the youngest religion is Muslim or Islam. Um, each one claims to have empathy as a practice, but half of the people that practices lack the empathy. Or they do, but it's all for show. It's never natural empathy or empathizing with your fellow brother or sister, or however you want to put it. And I think it comes back full circle, but then at the same time, maybe the people that lack the empathy are the people that are ignorant and lack in some type of form of intelligence. But I also know people, they're highly intelligent and have Ivy League schools degrees, but they're the biggest fucking idiots in the world.
And that's what I was going to say is I know some very smart, very intelligent, very educated people, but like in the way of what people need to survive, they don't give a fuck. I can't tell you how many people say that they're very religious, they care a lot, but they don't want to feed children. Like, and I'm like, how do you not want some of your money to give? I don't care if my money goes to feed. Well, what if some kid gets some food and their parents could afford it? I don't care. I want kids to eat, whether they're rich, whether they're poor. If my money feeds all
No
of them, I don't
child
really give a
should
shit.
go hungry, whether there's, in my opinion, no child
Yeah.
should go hungry, no matter their race, religion, status. But this
I
is
can't
where
believe that's a.
we
I can't believe that's like a controversial take though, because it shouldn't be.
exactly. I feel like the coldness and the lack of empathy in this world is taught, because if you see any child, they don't judge. They don't. They're, oh my God, are you okay? Oh my God, he got hurt. It's pure.
Hi, you want to be my friend? They don't. I wish adults worked that way a lot more often. I wish that adults communicated straight to the point
It, I think
the
this
way kids do.
empathy is, I think it goes both ways. Either a person was so empathetic and they just got fucked over, and just got tired of it and just lost their empathy, or as they grew older they became colder because of the way society is, or the person was just surrounded by so much hate they lost their empathy. And I think that's the way I'm starting to break it down in my head. But there's moments in this world that I'm like, what the fuck? What the flying fuck
We
is.
see so much right now. I just saw a video of a baby that had his fucking leg dangling, and like, I don't know where that baby was from. I don't know what caused that, but I immediately got the way I am right now because how the hell do you not? How do you look at something like that and not feel some sort of way? Never understand people who can look at something like that and not care because of where the baby's from. Like, that's fucked.
I know I said earlier that when it comes to a human being, something happening to a person, like I really don't get an emotion. I'm not that
I,
cold, people. Okay?
I figured you weren't. Yeah, no.
I I really don't give a fuck. Um because I also have that mindset, if a person puts themselves in a certain situation without thinking of the repercussions or the fact that there's no consequences, then you done it to yourself. I feel bad. I'm sorry for your family. I have empathy towards your parent, your wife, your children, but you did it to yourself. Now, if you tell me that a fucking building blew up or an earthquake happened or a tsunami, I'm going to be like, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm not going to cry. Like, if I would cry if a dog dies, but I'm going to be like, oh my God, that sucks. But when it comes to children, to me, children are so innocent. Children is not a
They
child.
are, yeah.
they don't start becoming little assholes until they're about 6, but it's usually taught to them.
Listen, I love my youngest. She's 6. Can she be a little sassy, fucking sarcastic? Oh my god, where'd you get that from? Oh yeah, now I know. But she's such a little fucking sweetheart at the end of the day. I just don't know how we got to a point in time where somebody like Miss Rachel can say something and that's viewed as controversial. Where she's like, I don't think any children should be starved. And people are like, fuck you. What? Like, why? Why are. It's literally a lady that teaches a fucking preschool show in overalls, and she's like, I think every child should eat, and no child should die in war. And people are like,
No one
screaming at her.
should, especially a child. No one should go
But that's
hungry.
just it. Most of the time, in the
daughter
ways of war,
Literally,
we're not making the decisions.
my daughter literally tells me she shares her snacks with all her classmates. So we send her with extra snacks.
Yes, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's a really good way to teach the new generation empathy.
She does
And
it on her own. She shares with her friends.
but that's what I was going to say is I bet most of the time kids they don't need a push to empathy. They don't need a push to care about other kids. Hate is absolutely fucking taught. Racism is taught. Not once have either of my kids been angry at somebody for looking different than them. They've been like, "Hi, how are you?" They might have questions about the wheelchair or whatever, but they're going to be nice about it and want to be educated the way most adults should want to be educated, but they won't.
Exactly. I've taught my children since a very young age they do not judge a person, especially a disabled person or a disabled child. Whether their disability is mental, whether their disability is physical, they do not judge them. Being a Catholic with a Catholic background, I always tell them a child that has a disability, whether it's a physical or mental or whatever kind of disability, I feel like they're closer to God because they're more innocent and pure than an individual that caused their situation. It wasn't their fault that whatever
No.
happens to them, it wasn't by choice. So I've always taught my kid that, and then unfortunately, my I guess my sibling and his children's mother didn't teach their children that, and my son was about 6 and my nephew was about 9, 10, or yeah, 9, 10. And he was making fun of a child that had Down syndrome or autistic, one of the two. And my son is just following his older cousin. He's just like, I want to fit in. I want to hang out with my cousin.
They're mimicking people they look up to.
Exactly. And he was mimicking, and I caught it, and I lost my shit. And then he's like, oh,
Yeah.
Aiden's doing it. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what he does. He's not my fucking kid at the end of the day. I didn't teach you that. This is why I don't want you around him. Don's here.
I don't blame you.
So
there's a lot of things that I'll accept from my kids, but if I ever catch one of them being a bully, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit.
It's and hola, how was your concert?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey there. Sorry.
Concert.
Just ended. 4 hours long.
Damn.
I'm happy. I was able to get a ride from my friend I was supposed to go pick them up. So
that was good.
That's wonderful. I want to go to a concert.
Well, I didn't go. It was on Amazon.
Oh God. Okay, I thought you meant you went.
It was an Amazon concert.
Amazon concert.
I could have watched it.
Brought out Mark Anthony, which was really cool. They did El Cantante, you know.
El Cantante.
Yeah, but apparently Bad Bunny hasn't sang that song in like 20 years or something like that. So it was a little.
Every real Puerto Rican knows that song by heart. You don't have
I know, right?
in 20 years.
No, I mean on stage, like him.
There's still no fucking excuse for that. That is the fucking Puerto Rican anthem, and as a ponceña, and he's from the same town as my mother, I am offended. I could be offended.
Well,
Like,
it was a nice concert.
For that,
there
but
was a lot of love for all types of Puerto Ricans.
no, there's always gonna be love. Puerto Ricans love Puerto Rican. I'm not gonna say because there's certain Puerto Ricans that I cannot stomach, but that's just me. They're the ones that make us look really bad.
Totally not Googling Bad Bunny and because I know who he is, but I don't like the name's familiar and I know some of the songs, but like I don't know.
Conejo Malo. Anyway, yes.
I don't know him like I would like other bands.
So really quick, everyone, it'd be the wonderful Don Manuel Presents is in the check-in. This is another misfit as he is taking a call. I'll give you a quick introduction and then let him introduce himself. And then I'm going to ask him our 3 questions because me and Nessa and Stitch had these conversations. Sadly, Stitch had a run. Something came up, but you can catch her on next episodes. Probably going to be wrapping this up soon once Don is finished answering his questions and we're going to get his things on it. Please look forward to this. Like I said, I'm going to be putting this on my website, krisvalkyrie.com. I will definitely be putting clips on Instagram. My Instagram is Kris_Valkyrie. I think it's the same for Twitch, or it's together. Discord, it's The Poisonous Daily, and it's not it's DA. I'm bringing it back to my DJ days. Then I think Twitch and YouTube, Kris Valkyrie. Definitely these episodes will be on there. I'm really looking forward to the next episode because Stitch, I think, is going to be a big involvement in this one. But he handled that phone call like the boss that he is. Everyone, please, and introduce yourself, Don. Give the people and let them know who you be.
Hello, IB's Don Manuel Presents. I am a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I am one of the co-founders of the Social Media Misfits Club, as well as a co-founder of the nonprofit Creating Dreams Movement. I'm a co-producer with Burlesque Buffet, which that's what I was just handling a phone call. We have a brunch show tomorrow morning. So last minute sound calls. But yeah, do all types of stuff. Content creator, cosplayer, father, husband.
Low Key Studios, you forgot that one.
1/3 of Low Key Studios. Shout outs to RDF and AGMT, the other 2. I'm a nerd. Don't tell nobody. Shh. Yeah, that's it. Do a lot of stuff, and I'll do nothing at all.
You see, you gotta love us misfits. This is why I say my misfits will be popping in every so often, especially when we're having these important conversations. So since you missed the first half, today's topic is empathy. So I asked everyone, what is their definition of empathy? So now all these questions are going to be slammed on you, and then we could finish up because I need to have your answer. I gave mine, I gave hers, Stitch gave hers. So, I even brought out the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of empathy. So, like, that's how far we went.
Okay, nice.
What is your definition?
So Don Manuel Presents' definition of empathy is being able to place yourself in other people's I don't want to say shoes, but other people's situations. When you've experienced something similar to other people and able to feel those similar emotions, it's never going to be the same. But empathy is, at least I believe, based in the understanding of those kind of feelings, opposed to like sympathy when you can imagine what it might be, but you don't really have a experience personal. So I think empathy is being able to have a personal experience that's shared with others, and being able to feel those emotions that people are having, like being empath, or being empathetic of people's emotions. At least that's what my little brain thinks of when I hear empathy.
Ness, I told you it was going to come back to me when I least expected. The other thing that you brought up was having sympathy. And so we've discussed it, and now I want to jump into these questions because, like I said, we've had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The next question was, do you think empathy is important?
I believe it's probably one of the most important things, to be able to feel for self and others, is to be to have empathy, um, is to I think it's almost like that golden rule, being able to treat others as you want to be treated. I think that stems from empathy. Um, being able to treat people with kindness and empathize with people's experiences. So yeah, I think it's very important to be able to be empathetic for people's situations, because if not, then I think we would live in more chaos.
I like what he just brought up. The golden rule. Remember when we were taught the golden rules as a child? Do they
Drilled
even
into your head from
exist?
fucking preschool. Yeah.
Do
Do
they
unto others.
No,
And some of us took that to heart. Like, we took that real fucking serious, and
I think we still take
others.
those golden rules that were etched into our being from a
right?
child as an adult, because I'm empathetic. Like I said, I could be an asshole. I could be a fucking bitch. I have a bitch face 24/7. It's just, that's my armor, okay? But I am the most sweetest, empathetic person there is, and I don't mind going above and beyond, especially when it's for a child or doing something for charity or just helping a person. I feel like I get more, like I'm like everybody else. I love a paycheck. I love a paycheck. I have expensive habits. It takes money to have a nice hair, makeup, and all these fucking shit. Disney's expensive. I need to go to Disney to de-stress, okay, people? So I need a paycheck. But that paycheck doesn't give me no value the way me helping another person or taking the time to give back to my community or traveling 6 hours to host a mental health awareness event with Dawn. That means more to me, and I feel like I get more value in life than the paycheck that I receive every day. It's great. Fucking love it. Need it to buy alcohol and shit and all the good shit that I like. We need it. Makes the money go round. But does it give me any value as an individual or as a person? No. It's what I do, how I help, how I try to be that positive light. So he said it, the golden rule. Do we teach this anymore? Like, I'm really curious. Do
My
you?
kids were taught it through the school. Like, they still said, hey, in kindergarten, preschool, they said, do unto others, treat others the way you want to be treated.
I
It's
know
still
that.
taught, at least in theory. What the schools practice, that's a whole other conversation.
So, like, is this a value anymore? What are maybe this should be my next show. What are the golden rules anymore in today's society?
How
Like,
many legs can you get?
oh, yeah,
Um,
that was another thing I brought up, Don. Like, I feel like people today are not
Performative.
really empathetic for the right reasons. They're only empathetic because they want to see how many followers they got. They're like, okay, I'm going to pretend to do this and act like this because this is going to get me a lot of followers and I'm going to get following and I'm going to be cool and da 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 da. But in real life, they're not that type of individual.
No. In real
so
life, they don't give a flying fuck.
a little secret
Performative.
that I don't talk about often, is whenever I do community based work, I don't put my name on it. I don't like, even if I'm on the plan, like there's events that I'm on their planning committee that we meet for months ahead of the events happening, and donating time and resources and equipment. And when these events come out, I make sure that my name isn't in any marketing, because it's a community service that I'm doing. I'm not doing it for work, or as like Kris said, for a paycheck. If it was for a paycheck, that's different. If I'm there making money, then yeah, you're going to see Don Manuel Presents all over it. But when it comes to community based work, if it's not my nonprofit that I'm a co-founder of, which is Creating Dreams Movement, um, then my name, Don Manuel Presents, or my government, none of it is connected to it, unless needed, right? Like who's in this position? Like, sure, I'm the vice chair of the Community Foundation of Tompkins County, but even that's under Don Manuel Presents. So it's one of those things that, like, when it comes to doing community work, or the golden rule, that's kind of why I do it, right? Is I know when I didn't have it, people would offer. And now that I'm able to give back in some capacities, I try. Um, yeah.
Yeah, like I understand. So like when I did this event, I love, having you guys in my life. I've been able to do a lot more things, especially with Don, and it's a long drive. Like I'm in Brooklyn. If it's Syracuse, it's 6 hours. If it's Ithaca, it's 5 hours. It's fucking 5 hour drive, and it's a fucking drive. Especially when we hit 17 and there's like no rest stops, and I got fucking pee. So you have to like get off somewhere and find a fucking rest stop. Once again, people, New York City and upstate New York are two fucking different worlds. Okay, people? Two different worlds. When I say New York City, I actually live in New York City. Don does not. He lives upstate New York.
Thank goodness.
Okay, there's a difference. People are like, yeah, I've been to New York City, and I was like, oh, where'd you go? Oh, Albany. No, that's
Albany, not even
New York
close.
City. Oh, I've been to That's not New York City. New York City is 5 boroughs: Brooklyn, Manhattan, Bronx, Queens, and the forgotten borough, Staten Island.
And sometimes Yonkers.
That is not a part of New York.
Sometimes
That
Yonkers.
is Westchester County.
Yeah, but they try to say that's upstate, and I'm like, y'all closer to being a borough than closer to being upstate.
Long Island could be a borough before Yonkers could be a borough, because at least Long Island's attached to Queens.
Well,
And let's give some food for thought. I'm going to give y'all a history lesson. My side of Brooklyn was once Long Island, okay? My side of Brooklyn was once Long Island, and then they separated it, and then Suffolk became Suffolk, and Nassau became Nassau, Queens became Queens, and Brooklyn became Brooklyn. And Brooklyn will always be first for me because I am from Brooklyn, and that's the best borough ever. But we'll just leave that there. But yes, I was offered money, and I actually felt insulted when people offer me money when I'm doing charity work, because I'm not
that
for
part.
that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like, I'm here because I want to make change. Fine, you want to give me a paycheck, take it and give it back to the community, or give it back to the charity. Like, I don't want it. I don't need it. Like, if I have to say no to it, I don't mind saying no, because that's not where the value is. Like, these things, this empathy that I have, or this sympathy that I have, it gives me more value in my life. I actually feel like I can make a difference. And I'm not inspired by a material thing. I'm inspired by the feeling that is provided by helping a person. So the golden rule was a nice one. And so the last question that we had was, do you think there is a lack of empathy in today's world, or is it taboo?
Yes and yes. I think that, and I don't even want to like give power or credit to entities. But there is a, sh- a loud silent minority that is spreading a lot of uh, I'm not even know what's the right word to call it. Just a lot of bad everything, right? Just like when we talk about mental health, that's ill. If you're talking about equality, that's ill. Like it's almost uncommon to be decent. Especially when it comes to like if we're talking about like the social media world. Um, Being kind doesn't doesn't get you far in the algorithm. The what I've noticed actually, the least empathetic you are, the more likely you are to get some virality. Um, and it's almost like we've almost feed into it that we're quick to comment on a post of something we dislike, and engage with it and feed it power essentially, and make it go viral, um, instead of engaging with stuff that is more empathetic. Before they used to call them fluff pieces, right? The story of something nice happening. Uh, it's a fluff piece because that's not really gonna sell, but it'll fill in some space. But what's really selling is the trauma corn that is happening, that's being exploited essentially. That's why I try my best not to, at least on my social media platforms, post things of that nature. I'll reshare people's content that they've created and they've put their energy and stories and stuff like that. But when it comes to myself, like there's a lot of topics that I won't personally won't talk about because I don't want to give it any more life. Then it's already been sucked out of us. So there's certain topics that we'll allude to and things like that, but those are the topics that have the least empathy, that are feeding the algorithm that everybody's engaged in, especially currently. Um, and it's sad to see that empathy is not as important to most people as it should be. Um, I strongly believe empathy um, is what divides decent people from monsters. Is the ability to have empathy and express empathy, right? Because you can, you know, be empathetic and not share it, which I don't know what that is. But I don't know. I definitely think it's super important to be taught, and to it's more of a live by example type of scenario, where you live your truth. And I think for most people that's the best that they could do. And if you have any social power, then people who notice will notice how you move. And I guess that's that. Yeah, empathy.
I think we lost Ness really quick, but
It's about that.
Ness brought up earlier also, like she mentioned animals, and I actually brought it to her attention. Like I think you described it best. Having empathy differentiates us from the monsters, and that's it. We have too many monsters in this world today, and I believe that it is, and me and Ness even and Stitch agreed on this, that a lot of the empathy, the lack of empathy, or the hate in this world is all taught. Everything is taught because Nessa brought this up as well. When you see a child, they have the empathy naturally, like it's just born. Like you get hurt, oh my god, you're okay. Oh my god, hi, let's be friends. Or perfect example, we were doing Delulu last night. We had like little kids, you want to be my friend? They don't know me. They didn't see me. They just see my Fortnite skin and they just want to play a game and enjoy themselves. And
No.
it's just a natural thing for them. But like I say, when it comes turn 6 years, they turn into little assholes, but that's when they start following or learning that level. And it comes down to that. Oh, wait, Stitch is back. Welcome back. So
Hello.
so it comes back to that whole issue that it is a taught thing, and it's something that actually people people learn to lose, or the hate over comes that empathy that's there. But then I also have the concept that there's people that were so empathetic throughout their life, but all they've gotten was pain and suffering from it. So that's caused them to become cold and lose that empathy. And then you also have the person that as a child they were empathetic, but as they got older, because of the teachings or the way society treated them, they lost that empathy. And then you just have an individual that lacks any empathy because they're ignorant or just plain old stupid or lack common sense kind of concept too, that falls into thing. Because I know individuals with the highest degrees from the most prestigious schools, not only do they lack common sense, they are also fucking stupid, but they have no empathy, and they put themselves at this caliber that they just feel like they're untouchable. Or a person that has a large amount of money, they claim to have empathy, but it's just to continue to gain that benefit or that money that they have, because they don't want to go into the cancel culture shit, or get bad publicity and lose the thousands or millions that they're making. So those are, I think, a lot of the analogies that we covered with this topic, and I felt like I needed to make this my first video or my first episode for this show, because it's something personal, I think, to each and every one of us. And as I've explained before in the beginning of the show, we all come from different walks of life, different cultures, different religions, different faiths, different backgrounds. We all don't have the same political opinions. We all are not on the same levels, but we are able to communicate with each other, build together, work with each other, and still have our differences and do it with a form of respect. You know, Me and Dom may not see eye to eye on a couple of things, but I respect his opinion. He's entitled to it. Do I hate him for it? Absolutely not. Don is more my brother than my actual brother, in my opinion. Stitch and me may not fall in the same line. Same thing with Ness. And this is something I think that has to do with empathy, but also because we also have respect for our individuals, or we're actual human beings. Because I don't think also the reason why there's a lack of empathy in the world is no longer people see others as human beings or the individuals that they are. They just see them for everything else but the correct things. So that's about it. We're about to hit almost 2 hours. Um, I'm definitely happy you guys got to join in, even though Don got to join in late, but he did it. He answered those questions. Me and Nessa had great conversations, especially being that we're parents and we're women, because there's also this thing now with this whole sexism. Uh, there's a lack of empathy for women and what we deal with on a daily basis. People think, or they're starting to fall back to that taboo, women can't do what men do. Like, the only thing we can't do that men do is have a penis. That's the only thing. But now with sex toys, women can have penises if they want. If you want to get technical, you want to get technical. They have their toys. We don't. You don't need it. But we'll save that for the next episode. That's the sex fetish show. But I feel like we're not going forward anymore because of the lack of empathy. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's that I'm the only one that's seeing it that way, but I feel like we are lacking empathy because we're starting to go backwards. We're starting to whitewash history or trying to erase history and make it seem like slavery didn't happen, or genocide of the indigenous people didn't happen, or colonizations didn't happen. No, it fucking happened. You can't erase the past. And my grandmother always gave this expression: everything comes back full circle. And if you don't stop it and nip it in the bud and learn from your past mistakes or from the history of your priors, it's going to repeat itself. And I feel like that's what's starting to happen. And with this comes the fact that there's a lack of empathy in the world, and a lack that people don't see other people as a human being. Yes, you may be white. Yes, you may be black. Yes, you may be Asian. Yes, you may be this. Yes, you may be that. If I forget anything, I'm sorry. I've had a long freaking day. No offense to anybody, but I don't do it in an intentional thing. It doesn't matter. We still breathe. We still need water to survive. We still need food to survive. We are all human beings. We all have our own things, whether personal, bad, whatever. No child should be hungry. No culture or person or individual should be massacred or facing genocide because of their belief or position that they're in. No one should die for giving their own opinions or things like that. No one should be judged. And if you're wrong, you're fucking wrong at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, it also comes, you don't have to have empathy for a person if you don't think, because there's people that I have a lack of empathy for, like I don't feel bad for. And it's like I said before, it's a person that set them or put themselves into that position. I can't empathize with you if you knew there was going to be a certain type of consequence to it and you still did it knowing the consequence or the outcome that's going to happen. So you did it to yourself. I have empathy for your family or children or your wife because now they lost an individual, but you set yourself up. But at the same time, that's my opinion. It could be different. Don could be different. We don't have to agree on it. You don't see no argument here, right or wrong.
Right.
Anyone can do anything, but at the end of the day, when it comes to a lack of empathy, I feel like, or there's no more empathy in this world. I can't say we're going to hell because I feel like we're already there, but to people that don't believe in religious things, I feel like it's just maybe a fucking meteor's just gonna fucking hit us and we're gonna turn out like the fucking dinosaurs. Like I don't fucking know what to do anymore. And I feel like the more and more we lose empathy, the worse it gets. I don't know if it's me. You guys gotta help me here.
Yeah, no. I completely agree with everything you said on the point that we're going backwards or staying stagnant. I guess could be that too. Could because a lack of empathy has always been a global issue. Um, Hence why all those other things have happened. You can't colonize a people if you have empathy for them. Um,
No, I think that was more greed than empathy.
yeah, sure. All of it, but whatever supersedes your empathy, then that's the whatever the bad, the wicked, the evil. I don't know what people want to call it. Because like you said, we all like a paycheck. We all like money. We all like to be able to do things we like to do. Doing it on the backs of others isn't as fun. Well, at least I don't think so. There's a group of people that would disagree. Um, Once again, it's because of that lack of empathy. If you see people as an equal, um, then I don't know. I'm also I don't understand the toxic masculine mentality that has allowed it to be what it is. Um,
Machismoism, as we say.
yeah, I can't empathize with that.
No one
Right?
can.
I don't even understand it. When I have conversations with those kinds of people, I lose empathy and want to punch them in their face. Um, so it's contagious, but not in the way they thought. Um, and I guess I think part of that part is going to, I don't know. Like I said, I hate speaking power to things, so I try not to say things that I foresee when I don't want to see it. um, but at the same time, acknowledging the truths that we live in a society that is alpha male mentality, when that's like dog eat dog type of world, and that's not what you know empathetic humans want to do. We want to coexist with other people, regardless of what they identify as long as they identify with a decent human being.
Respect,
Everything, yeah,
morals,
sure, yeah,
empathy,
decent,
sympathy.
right,
You
decent.
You can do
listen,
Um,
whatever you want. Just
yeah,
don't be a shithead.
that's all. Don't affect my life with your beliefs.
Right?
You can
or
Exactly.
share
You
your
can do
don't
beliefs,
whatever you want.
but
don't
don't
judge
affect.
me or try to create chaos in my life because you don't have the same opinion.
Hmm.
You know,
Right?
this bullying, or what do you want to, gangster, keyboard gangster shit that we see on social media. And I feel like social media is like a double road. It allows people to see what they wouldn't see if it didn't exist. It
Right.
helps open the mind, and helps them question things and realize that a lot of the things that have been taught to them are not the correct way. Um, it shows people what people had to end up finding out the hard way, coming from the Midwest or down south and coming to a big city of a melting pot, that you can get along with others and progress and move forward. It helps alleviate that ignorance that exists in the world, or the lack of knowledge that's going. Um, but then at the same time, it helps spread hate and fuel situations that shouldn't even be fueled or be entertained. Um, so I feel like it's that double-edged sword at the end of the day. And instead of using it for the positivities, and like I said earlier, also violence, sex, and hatred sells more than the kind words. And then you bought the fluff pieces in newspaper articles. Journalism is not what it used to be. Journalism used to just be about actually giving the news, not fucking seeing what sells best. Um, so I have to thank you guys so much for being on my first episode of the Poisonous Daily and having this conversation with us. This was a very serious show. I promise the next episode wasn't be as serious. It'll be a lot more fun. I think Stitch is gonna love that one because she just got into it. I think she freaking binged the whole thing. Dawn, it's all
Yeah, I
about
did.
love, con, and revenge. Let's see if your dad gets it. We're gonna be talking about
I
swindlers.
Who?
recommend watching
Swindlers,
it. It's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I don't know nothing about that.
people, well, men that now do it to women and take them out of millions. And then we know women's been doing it for fucking years, but that's the only one. Now the men are being exposed for scamming women out of their dollars. The first
Hmm.
episode was a guy that said he had a mental health clinic and he was all about mental health and this, that, and he targeted women that were actually affected by mental health or had a family member and they wanted to help.
Yeah.
So he would ask for
Yeah,
money,
and he took advantage of these people.
thousands, thousands, and no one wanted to help them. And now these two women came in with Netflix, and now they're exposing it. So we will be discussing
Mhm.
Slippers. If you want to jump in, you could jump in. Please follow everyone here. There's Stitch. Please follow her on Instagram and Twitch. There's Don Manuel, Hot Mess Ness. If you follow me, you definitely are seeing them in my posts. Go follow them. They're must have. They're amazing at
Right.
what they do. Guys, talking about Hot Mess Ness, she reappears. Make sure you
Yay.
follow her as well and see all her amazing makeup tutorials. And then you can also see her gaming with us on Fortnite and streaming with
Mhm.
Twitch. We have a bunch of clips. We forgot about the Terra Loop. If you have not seen the Terra Loop, it is on Amazon Prime. Please go watch the Terra Loop. Look out for Terra Loop 2. Comic Con is
With
around
a
the
bunch
corner.
of new faces.
Yes. Comic Con is around the corner. You can catch me, Darth, Don Manuel, and Stitch at New York Comic Con. And our only event that we have on for that weekend is Con and the after party. So that will be at Hidden Tiger. So if you are in New York City for Comic Con or live in New York City or the five boroughs, Yonkers, White Plains, Long Island, uh,
Jersey.
or
Right?
Jersey,
Even anybody in Jersey, anybody in
you're in
Pennsylvania,
Jersey,
anyone near Comic Con.
near the tri-state area, even if they're not going to con, come hang out with us at the Hidden Tiger. Please come chill with
Mhm.
us, have a drink. We'll also be doing the premiere of the Terra Loop. And look out for our amazing poster that is on the way by Son of the Saint. Big shout out to Son of the Saint.
Yep.
Ness, thank you for coming. I appreciate you as always. Love you, my guys. All right, beasties. We're out of here. Check us all out. Once again, you can catch us on the website,
Check out for all the
Instagram,
cool things that's gonna be
Twitch,
happening.
TikTok, YouTube, and I think that's it. I'm not TikTok friendly, but these three are. You'll catch me every once in a while. These are the
Right?
TikTok masters.
Check us out and everywhere. We're search up our names. We're everywhere.
Exact. Bye,
Check us
guys.
out
Absolutely.
on Comic Con. Check us out for the after party. For those who are even going to Anime Con in Philly, I'll be there.
See, we're
I'll
everywhere.
be, exactly. Almost
We're
in any
everywhere.
event, you'll see one of us randomly everywhere.
Bye,
Don't be
guys.
shy. Come up to us and say hi.
Yep. Yeah.